Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Vesuvius regular open meeting of council, November 14th, 2023 at 2 p.m. in council chambers. So first off is the approval of the agenda. And before we approve this, I'm going to suggest that there is a change, that the regular open meeting of November the 14th be amended by removing G1, water matters, water connection and regulations amendment bylaw number 753.04 2023, and remove K1, the bylaws, sewer connection and regulation amendment bylaw number 1374.01 2023. We're just do you want to explain why
We are
doing
gonna
that?
remove them. We're gonna do a little bit more. We're actually not gonna do amendments. We're actually gonna repeal both bylaws and create a new sewer connection and regulation bylaw that will also incorporate the fees. And we're also gonna be doing the same with the water connection and regulations bylaw. We're gonna repeal 753 as it was first enacted in 1989. So the bylaw does need a considerable overhaul, and we're gonna also try to incorporate the fees into that bylaw as well.
And will that come back at our next meeting?
No, we're actually gonna hope that we could do a special open at some point within the next 2 weeks, if we can get the bylaws to that time.
Thank you very much. So could I have a motion, please, to approve the agenda as changed? Councillor King, Councillor Poderica, all in favor. Thank you. And the adoption of some minutes, regular open minutes of October the 24th, 2023. Councillor Chung, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you. And we will move down to correspondence. And that is the report from the Okanagan Basin Water Board. The board met on November the 9th. In the winter time, the meetings are held online. And a couple of people, me and the executive director, provided updates on recent meetings with BC Premier David Eby, including stronger protection against the threat of invasive zebra quagga mussels, an increase to BC's watershed security fund, need to address provincial water staffing shortages, and funding to replace the aging Okanagan Lake Dam in Penticton. So those were brought up. Board is quite concerned about the threat of zebra quagga mussels, which have been found in Idaho, and which in the Snake River there, and it's feeding into the Columbia, and there's a possibility that the larvae could then move up the Columbia into the Okanagan River. And that's very, very concerning, because Vesuvius Lake would be the first point of entry into Canada. So we would get it before anybody else if that happened. So the Okanagan Basin Water Board has sent letters to BC local government chambers and tourism associations asking for support for its calls to action. And these calls include a temporary moratorium on boats coming into BC until the impact of the response is known, and addressing the gaps in inspection stations. Some stations are open. There's one that's open 24 hours. The other ones, people are supposed to stop, but if it's not open, they don't. And that's quite a concern. More on that in a minute. The water board is funded by grants, not really even grants. It's money that's collected by the 3 regional districts, North, Central, and South. And so the James Litley, who is the one of the officers, is going to present to the RDOS on Thursday this week. And he has already presented to North Okanagan and Central Okanagan, asking for letters of support to enact some of these things to prevent mussels from coming into BC. So more on that in a minute. And OBWB is keeping a very close eye on the drought situation. Although certain areas in the Okanagan are down to a drought level 2 because of the rain that we've had. Some of the streams on the side are still at a level 5, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. There are water grant program for 2024 is reviewed, and anybody can, improvement district, local governments, nonprofits can apply based on the theme drought resilience. And they are awards of up to $30,000 paid for, that come out of the OBWB. So, the application is, deadline is the 23rd of February. Anybody wants to do that. And the board has approved the budget. So that's the letter, and what I would, or that's the report. What I would like to do is ask for a motion from council, that town council provide a letter of support from the town of Vesuvius to the province, CC'd to the Okanagan Basin Water Board concerning the threat of zebra quagga mussels entering BC. And we've had, the Okanagan Basin Water Board has had several letters so far, and I would like to try and include a letter from the town of Vesuvius. Could I have a motion to do that? Thank you. Councillor Poderica, can I do that now? Yeah, Councillor King is seconding that. All in favor? I will write the letter and I will provide it to council. Okay, thank you very much.
We just need council to receive the highlights from
Absolutely. We need to receive for information the correspondence from OBW. Thank you, Councillor Chong, Councillor Bennett. All in favor? Thank you. And next is the life jacket boating safety project. Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before you is a recommendation that council approves the administration to prepare a letter identifying the life jacket safety station will be placed at the Desert Sunrise Marina, and that the town will provide regular maintenance to the site as part of the marina upkeep. Part of this project is the presentation of the RCMP Constable Jason Beta, Staff Sergeant Beta, present to council. And since then, the Rotary has come on board and is applying for a grant to get this completed. It's a regional grant or a district regional grant. And we've priced out the cost of this, a maintenance-free type of kiosk. And it shouldn't be too difficult to include this as part of our regular maintenance.
Great, thank you very much. And Sergeant Beta explained this morning at our town meeting as well. The recommendation that council approves administration to prepare a letter identifying the life jacket safety station will be placed at the Desert Sunrise Marina, and that town will provide regular maintenance to the site as part of the marina upkeep. Thank you, Councillor Bennett, Councillor Poderica. All in favor? So the letter will be written. Thank you. Next is Mr. Davis, the Grant Evaluation Committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before you are a couple of recommendations from the Grant Evaluation Committee. One is in relation to a Merry Christmas Farmers Market application that was received. And the second one is related to the committee's terms of reference. The terms of reference didn't include a criteria or an evaluation tool to evaluate our grants. And this was brought to a meeting with the Grant Evaluation Committee and discussed, and we're bringing this forward to be included in the actual terms of reference for the Grant Evaluation Committee.
Okay, thank you. Would someone on the committee like to make a motion here? There are two recommendations. Anybody else? Go, Councillor King. That council approves the $4,000 Resort Municipality Initiative grant application for the Vesuvius Market on Main to host a Merry Christmas it a Merry Christmas? A Merry Christmas, very Merry Christmas, no? Merry Christmas Farmers Market on December the 1st, 2023. So that's been moved. There's a seconder, Councillor Chong. Any questions? All in favor? Thank you. There's another recommendation here, Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to move number 4. And just to make a comment, the committee spent over an hour reviewing this application. You really gotta go down to the last page on the attachment. And bringing this forward as a criteria kind of takes the personal bias out of grant. We got a criteria now we can mark and check, and I think it's a great move forward with the committee.
Good, so the recommendation is that the grant evaluation committee terms of reference, FIM 011, be amended by including the grant evaluation criteria as Schedule A.
Yes.
Which was included. Yeah, thank you very much. Is there any more comments, concerns? All in favor? Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Mr. Davis. And next is the bylaw enforcement appointment. Mrs. Nelson.
Thank you, your worship. Today we have a new bylaw enforcement starting, Sean Siebert. And he won't be able to write any municipal tickets until council actually formally appoints him as a bylaw enforcement for the town. We are also recommending that appointments that have been made several years ago also be removed, as the staff are no longer in place, and even our seasonal bylaw officers. Some have indicated they would like to come back next year, but we'll take them off just in case, and we can always reappoint them in the spring of 2024. So the recommendation from administration is that Sean Siebert be appointed as a town of Osoyoos bylaw enforcement officer under section 36 of the Police Act and section 264 of the Community Charter for the purpose of enforcement of municipal bylaws for the town of Osoyoos. And that the second motion would be that the bylaw enforcement appointments to Brennan Gojovic, Chris Albert, Harvey Litter, and Winder Ladhard be the same.
Thank you, and you'd like those as two separate?
Yeah.
Motion, so. How about
We'll move on if you want.
option 1? Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Federica? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you just give us a little background on this new bylaw, Richard? How long he's been a bylaw officer?
So actually, his experience was in corrections. He's been, I think, for the last, I'm gonna say 4 or 5 years. And then he's also done some bylaw enforcement up in the valley, I think Vernon and Kelowna. And previous to that, he had quite a few years, like an extensive period in Calgary as a transit bylaw enforcement officer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Comes well recommended, yeah.
John.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Option 1, let's vote on that. All in favor? Thank you. Yes, someone like to make the next motion? Councillor King?
Number 2, that the bylaw appointment be amended, or rescinded, I guess.
Are you seconding that? Councillor Federica seconding it. All in favor? Thank you very much. And next is the general net payroll and Sun Bowl Arena financial accounts. So as of November the 14th, 2023, balances in the following funds in the amount of general cash, $388,648.22. Sun Bowl cash requirements of $12,063.54. And net payroll accounts of $116,552.89. So the options are to receive this for information or to request more information.
Move option 1.
Thank you. Option 1, is there a second? Councillor Bennett, second. All in favor? Thank you. And next is the here, the building permits. So to $2,864,000 this month. There's a single family dwelling, alterations in a secondary suite, new accessory building, industrial building alterations and interior alteration. And that one looks like you could build a house with it, but it's actually the Bank of Montreal. They're doing quite a bit of interior alterations on that one. So could we have a motion that the building report be accepted for Commissioner Joe? No, okay. Thank you very much. Is there a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Chong, all in favor? Thank you. Amen. Next is the, skipping the sewer connection. We'll move on to the good neighbor bylaw, amendment bylaw, Mrs. Hilson.
Thank you, Your Worship. Administration met, and we were reviewing the insurance requirements for the fireworks display. And we, were looking at other municipalities and saw that our $10 million requirement was quite high. And so we are recommending to council, in comparison to the other municipalities, to bring that down to $5 million. And another piece that our bylaw was missing was naming the town, and I'm gonna look at Councillor Bennett as an additional insured. And so we've added that to Schedule A, as we would definitely want to be listed on all insurances to protect the town's liability. So, so the Schedule A amendment is just going to change that $10 million down to $5 million, and then listing the town as an additional insured. And so we're recommending that Good Neighbor Amendment Bylaw number 127703 be read first, second, and third time. And one of the, I'm gonna highlight an issue of this bylaw is that it does have to go to the Ministry of Transportation. And last time we sent this bylaw to the province to review, it took them 6 months to approve a minor amendment. So we are not anticipating that this will come back to council in the next 2 weeks.
In your report, it says administration is currently in the process of reviewing a fireworks permit application. I'm just wondering if that was needed in the next couple of weeks. If, and I don't know whether, because it looks like you're in the process, is there any way that this could be speeded up, or
So
is there something that can be done?
in speaking to that, I don't, as far as I know, administration has not actually received a copy of the fireworks insurance requirement. If if whoever's putting on the fireworks display could not obtain the $10 million and needed a lesser amount, they would need to make a request to council, so they could send an email or provide us a letter. And the only way that that requirement can be changed is if council makes a policy resolution. So it would have to come to a meeting of council, and council by resolution would have to change that insurance requirement from $10 million to the $5 million, if that is so what's required. But administration does not have that authority, as it relies in the bylaw, and the only ability is for council to change that, and it would have to be made at the council table.
Thank you. Is there any possibility that if this application did come forward and that was required, could a special meeting be held in order to?
Yeah, we could either hold a special meeting as long as council's available, and or if they could get, if we received that by the November 28th council meeting, there'd be no reason why that couldn't be put on the November 28th for council's consideration.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And would that resolution be a one-off, or is it?
It would be a one-off and specific, because I don't think we would want to waive that all the time until, so it would be a one-off that council would pass, and it would be very specific.
So we have a couple of weeks to deal with this. If it comes forward, we can. Okay, thank you very much. So the recommendation is that the Good Neighbor Amendment Bylaw number 1277.03 2023 be read first, second, and third time. Councillor King, Councillor Chong. Okay, we're okay, no questions, all in favor? Thank you very much. Next is there's reports of committees. and Cal reports, committee of the whole. So first is the Airport Development Advisory Committee meeting of January the 23rd, 2023. So this is about 11 months out, isn't it? 10 months out. I guess it hadn't come before us again. So what we need, please, is that that this be received for information, this report. Councillor Federica, Councillor King. Did you have a question? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since this is 11 months out, I hear they've met a few times since then. Will we getting this like regular, quarterly, monthly? Should they be submitting like, say, a month after they've had a meeting, like they do with other committees?
Okay, so. Minutes don't come to council until they've been approved by the committee, so the committee would have just met and approved these January 23rd minutes. So it'd be no different than any, yeah, so we don't bring the minutes out to council until the committees have a chance to review. Once the committee's reviewed, then it comes to council.
So
So
that's-
that's reviewed last month.
That was our first.
Yeah, okay, that's all.
Meeting with everyone.
Okay. So we have a mover and a seconder to accept
Yes.
this. All in favor. Thank you very much. And the next one is the Accessibility and Age Friendly Advisory Committee meeting. Minutes from September the 21st, 2023. Are there any, I think, Councillor King, you're usually on that, but you probably were UBC on during that time. See you Wednesday. Okay, so the minutes have been accepted into our agenda, so is there anybody who would like to move that they be received for information? Councillor King, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you very much. And next, we have some motions that have come from this morning's committee of the whole meeting. And we would like to bring them into council. So first off, it was moved and seconded. That we have to get another mover in a second.
Yes, for each
Correct.
one of these will be moved in second.
Okay, so it's already been moved and seconded at the meeting, committee of the whole meeting this morning, but we need to do it for this regular meeting. First off, that council approved $222,000 for the park and trail sign project with funding from the RMI grant, Resort Municipality Initiative Grant. So we need a mover and a seconder for that. Councillor Chong, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you. The second motion, that council approved $61,100 for the LED advertising sign project with fund, and that would be for the Sun Bowl Arena, with funding from the RMI grant. Councillor Federica, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you. The third one, that council approved $70,000 for the community events trailer and materials purchase with funding from the RMI grant. Councillor Chong, Councillor Federica. This one would be, before we vote on it, this is for a trailer that would have a lot of the equipment and things that are necessary when you put on a special event. And they would be put in this trailer, and the special event committee would then come and request that trailer, that they would then move to the site. And hopefully vests and signs, and I'm not sure what else would be going in there, but it might be an easier way than requesting everything on the special event form individually. So this is a good one. So that has been moved and seconded, that we approve $70,000 from the RMI grant for that. All in favor? Thank you. And the fourth one, that council approved $41,520 for garbage cans project with funding from the RMI grant. We need new garbage cans around town apparently, because the other ones are getting worn out, and this would alleviate that problem. So could we have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Federica, Councillor King, all in favor. Thank you very much. So those are from the committee of the whole meeting this morning. We'll now ask the CAO please to give his report.
Thank you, your worship. Yeah, so just gonna give you an update of what's happened over the last couple of weeks, plus what's going on a little bit into the future here. First thing is, and we've talked about it quite a bit, so I am gonna highlight it, they attended the Resort Municipality Initiative meeting. Just to be clear, I know we've told the public several times that we do, we're fortunate, to receive some funding as being a resort municipality, and it changes on a year-to-year basis, anywhere from just over 400,000 to 500,000. The formula is based on hotel occupancy. That's one of the pieces that goes in the formula. It's very important for everybody to know that these funds can only be allocated to specific projects. I know there's been a lot of people wanting to allocate funds to things like the sewer and the water and that type of thing, but that is not currently permitted within the guidelines of the RMI grant funding. And so again, I just want to make it clear that this funding is flexible, but it's also strict. And the strict piece is it must be allocated to things that will enhance our resort experience. So just want to make that clear. You know, if you just council just approved a bunch of projects, and that's coming from that funding. If we don't use that funding, we lose the funding. So one of the things that is occurring is obviously, I think all the municipalities within that resort group want the funding to increase, because there are a lot of additional costs associated with hosting all these tourists, and unfortunately, a lot of those costs are put on to our existing property taxpayers. So this group is looking to attempt to increase that fund and also to be a little bit more flexible to assist us on our operating budget to offset some of the costs associated with hosting our tourism industry. So hopefully we're successful, our mayor's successful with this group to again amend those two pieces to that very important funding piece. Other things going on, community services staff took Loxone training. Unfortunately, it's something that you just need to have nowadays, and they're also looking at potentially put on a training session to the public in the near future. So something don't like to talk about, but it's something that's reality these days. And Halloween was a great event, and approximately 200 people attended, so that's fantastic. Last month we started a new program with weightlifting. A lot of 13 and 15-year-olds have taken some training, and now they're able to actually go into the training room themselves. So there's a whole training program that they go through. They can actually go into that room without adult supervision. So that's been very successful. I think there's about 14 youth that have gone through that training and are utilizing the facility. Public skating is still doing extremely well. About 40 to 50 participants on the weekends. And we talked about it quite a bit. Just in case people are not aware, there was an accessible portable toilet placed on Pioneer Walkway, so there is a toilet there. Other things I just want to bring to people's attention: BC Transit, they are putting on an additional holiday service effective December 1st to December 22nd. So go to the town website to see that additional service. On the financial services side, we have notified people of the changes that were required as part of the budget process. We did this on a proactive basis. One of the things we communicated earlier this year is we wanted the budget to proceed as early as possible so that people can get an advance notification as to their potential tax impacts for the upcoming year. I know that's created a lot of buzz in the community, but I think if everybody goes back and takes a look at the things that council has been wrestling with over the past year, looking at the state of our infrastructure with regard specifically to water and sewer, this is an absolute must to ensure that we deal with the #1 complaint within the community, which is improving our water quantity and quality. So a lot of that funding in this increase is going to that item that our residents have been very loud and clear to address. Some good news, we have a couple new firefighters, Martin Hahn and Mike Paula completed their NFPA 1001 firefighter 1 and 2 course. So that's just fantastic. It's a lot of hours that they've got to put in to get all these certifications. We heard a lot about that this morning at our COW meeting. Currently we have about 32 paid on call professional firefighters serving the community. So we certainly want to give a thank you to those people that get called upon in times when the rest of us are sleeping. We prefer to stay that way. As far as new businesses, there are 3 in town. We have a new electrical company. Name actually escapes me now, but the new electrical company in town, I'll make sure we include it in our minutes. Shut Up in Color and K4 Construction Limited is the three businesses that came into the community in the last few weeks. Operational services. People notice today they're actually out putting up the Christmas lights, so that takes definitely a few weeks to do. There's a lot of work that goes into that, but it definitely makes our community look really festive during the holiday season. People have been downtown, we've got 85th Street Plaza underway, and they're really moving forward on that quickly. And so hopefully it is on schedule, so it's completed in time for the next year's busy tourist season. And water treatment plant, we heard I think a little bit this morning. Hopefully within the next few weeks, end of the month, we'll be able to install some pilot treatment plants to ensure that basically what we are going to build to address our manganese issue and other chemicals within the water, to ensure that, again, what we're going to ultimately build addresses some of those chemicals that are in our water. So that's what's going on. Just trying to find the name of that business. Son of a gun. It is Eric's Electric. This one, Eric's Electric is another new business in town. So thank you very much. I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much. Could we have a motion, please, to receive the CAO report? Councillor Sean, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you very much. And we'll go on to council reports. Councillor Poderica.
Your worship, actually, so last time I did a fairly busy couple weeks. October 25th, I attended SHOC's quarterly meeting. Note that November 22nd, 3 p.m. they're hosting their annual general meeting at the Walmart Beach Resort. As well as they're in the process of selling tickets for Sutherland Fire and Ice Festival, which is now become a much joint event between Alvaro CS and Sioux City event. So lots of events going on, lots of throughout that week. Of course, leading up to our own weekend. October 28th, attended All Hallows, just some time to warm up for the fire show. But thank you again to Wide Arts National Association and their volunteers for a really successful event. It's good to see throughout the 2 days there. Good rotation of people going down to see what's going on. October 30th, attended a meeting with representative from O's with the CAO. November 3rd, attended the Cape Desert Heritage Society fundraiser event with the council. And on November the 4th, attended Miracle and Open Gala fundraiser for Living Sunshine. So congratulations to Ashley Budnar, and great to have Councillor Graham from Benedictine there seeing that event. Both really good events that weekend. Of course, attended with Remembrance Day on the 11th. And again, thanks to Branch 173, Rocan Legion for organizing again. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. First, I'd like to thank all the businesses in town that take part in the Halloween handouts that afternoon. If anybody has time next year to sit around and see all the kids running around the costumes, it's an excellent thing to do. Also on the 1st, with the loan committee met. On the 2nd, the grant evaluation committee met, and as you heard earlier, revised the term of reference. On the 3rd, we went to an OIB gala with Councillor Chung and the mayor of Gorda, which was a great fundraiser for the culture center up there. What was a really neat little event, it was actually on the 9th, the fire hall picked someone, and it was a young lady in grade 3 become fire chief at a day. So what they do, they pick her up in the big fire trucks in school. It was quite exciting for the young lady. They take her out to lunch, and then they take her back to the fire hall and show around the fire hall. And then she actually has the opportunity to boss some of the firemen around and sweep the floor, do a few things. So it was really exciting to see that happen. And then I'd like to take a shout out to the local Legion for putting on the Remembrance Day and inviting people if they had the time to go down for a luncheon and sing song in the afternoon. So kudos to the Legion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. November 2nd, also attended the grant committee meeting. November 9th, Okanagan Regional Library Board Personnel Committee meeting. We reviewed the performance evaluation for the new CEO that's been there for 1 year. I didn't realize quite how big the Okanagan Regional Library was. It's got 30 libraries, 440,000 people for services. And there's over 300 employees, and I'm one of 24 trustees, so it's kind of a shocking, the first meeting. Then November 9th, there was attended town hall to welcome the drum roll delegation. It was quite interesting, a while that this running had ran marathons the day before and another marathon the day before that, so he was running a marathon a day, raising funds. And then November 11th, of course, Remembrance Day at the Sonora Center, and also laying of the wreaths at town hall. That's my report.
Great, thank you. Councillor Chong.
Thank you. Echoing a lot of the same sentiments already. Attended All Hallows. It's always great to see a turnout. It's a little chillier, but a huge shout out to the performers, braving the cold and providing awesome entertainment. Tradition on Main Street. First time actually attending it as a participant. So thanks to all the businesses and everyone who participated as well. Also attended the Desert Heritage Society fundraising on the 3rd. And we also had a grand evaluation committee on November 2nd.
Good, well, we're all busy for sure. I'm not gonna go through all of the things that you've already mentioned because I was already part of them too, All Hallows Eve and the Desert Cultural Center and lunch with the fire chief. So Councillor King and I went in the fire trucks to pick up the young lady, Josie, and take her to lunch at McDonald's. So that was fun, and quite a few of the firemen were with us. I have been at a couple of meetings with the regional district, and we're on to meeting more often now because we are going through budget, which always takes time to do. A few extra meetings, and we have a new interim CAO at the RUS, Jim Zapino, who was and still is actually the chief financial officer up there, and he's taken over for that. Certainly, the Remembrance Day, there was a poppy, somebody in the town, either the mayor or somebody else has to have the first poppy pinned on them, and then everybody else can wear poppy. So the Legion came and did that on me. That was posted in the paper, and then there were lots of volunteers in town selling or helping the Legion raise money, and they're just about on. I bet you I saw 6 or 8 places where you could buy poppies and raise some money, and they do an excellent job, the Legion, of putting on the event at the Sonora Center till 11 o'clock in the morning, and then another smaller event at the Cenotaph. So we thank them for that. I went out, and I think some of councillors have done this too, on business walks. And this one, I went with the chair of the Chamber of Commerce, and we went to several businesses asking what information they need help with, how are they doing in their business, what could they use, or how could town or volunteers help them. And it was quite interesting. And Denise Blaschko from the chamber will now collate all that information and put together a report. So they try and do it about once a year, I think. So I know that council was involved in that. I've also been on with the resort municipality people. There's 14 of us in the province, and we meet every once in a while to talk about what is important for all 14 of us. And of course, some flexibility with the funding is always a big one. So that would be the MRDT, which is the hotel tax. So we're looking at how can we make that work a little bit better than just promoting events in the town, but what about things like maybe, some, help with housing for some of the people that are needed in the summertime. So all of those things are being looked at, and they will be brought to the minister, Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister, and we will continue to meet and make sure that we keep up to date on the funding. And the drum run, that was quite interesting because they were here. They came on the 9th, and Councillor Bennett and I were here in council chambers to meet them. When they came in, they were quite happy to be able to come inside for a few minutes because Lyle had been running in his shorts with a police escort and a few other people, and they came in here. And then in the evening at the Sonora Center, Councillor King and I were there, and they had drums for everybody. And we did all kinds of sort of exercises and different patterns and different ways of playing the drum, and how you use different parts of your hand and the center of the drum and the outside to get different sounds and different beats. And it was actually, I was surprised. It was quite interesting. And I think we sort of learned a lot. And in many cultures around the world, drumming and singing are very, very common in bringing the community together and providing a kind of a fun activity for everybody. So it was fun, and they said they were so well received in Osoyoos that they think they're coming back. So Councillor King, you'll be there again, because he said your hands get a little bit sore from doing all of that. You have to kind of get used to it. Anyway, it was a very interesting time. That was on the 9th. And I think all the other things have already been mentioned. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. I'm going to say that the next couple of weeks, certainly into December, is going to be super busy as well. There's all kinds of events on that are planned, and lots of activities for everybody. And actually, when we're talking about resort municipality funding, the funding that we get for to enhance things in the town that the tourists need, such as the bathrooms down at Gyro, such as the plaza that's being built right now. Those are all money financed by funds from the resort municipality. But people need to remember that it not only helps the tourists that come here, which provide a lot of businesses their bread and butter, but it also helps the locals, because we get to use them all year, and we get to enjoy them just the same as the tourists do. So it's important for us to make sure that we do our homework and use that money wisely, and continue to advocate for the government to provide this for us. So that's my report, and I'm going to now ask for a motion to move in camera, please. That pursuant to section 91 community charter, part of the council meeting may be closed to the public if the subject matter being considered related to one or more of the following: 91C, labor relations and other employee relations; section 91G, litigation or potential litigation affecting the municipality; 91K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages, and that in the view of the council could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if it were held in public. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please, on that? Councillor Poderica, Councillor Chung, all